we here? Advertisements, great. Do I just see this, or does everybody see it? Seems up, I don't know. Anyway. Is it running? How can you tell? Wi-Fi is okay. No drop frame. Oh, here we are. Good morning, good morning. Here we are. You know what's going on. Still another round on the gift print block. Good morning, good morning. This being Wednesday, regular viewers will know the normal routine. Wednesday at about 9:30 or so Tokyo time, 9:20. The staff starts arriving at Shiba-san. It's 8 o'clock now, so it's a well away, 90 minutes away. I just got an email from Shiba-san. She's on the train, and there's trouble on the trains this morning, some power trouble somewhere. Or it could have been another suicide or something, I don't know, she didn't say. But so she'll be late today, so when it gets to about the right time, the bell time here, I'll have to go and open the door myself, perhaps. That's an indication of just what it takes. We're 90 minutes away from the normal time she arrives, but she's already on the train. That's how far away. Some people commute here. For her, it's just about a 2-hour trip here, and then the same thing to go home. And I live myself actually farther away than she does. So why don't I go home every night? Yeah, right. Who we got here this morning? Some unusual names. Good morning, good morning. I know that's just the way it is, on the train. I know it's not very often power problems. The system here runs very smoothly and effectively. What it is far more often, of course, is somebody jumps in front of the train. She comes on the Chuo line. It's one of the central commuter lines coming into Tokyo from the west. And in recent years, it has become a favored place for that activity. And they track it, getting towards the end of the month when bills come due and stuff like this. They station different people on the platforms at the part where the train rushes into the station. So it's a thing, What do I hear? Get these. Chuo line, yes, that's right. It comes in from the west side of Tokyo. So she lives in Ome, quite a long way away. Fukuro and Fukuro are no connection, whatever. Homonyms, things that look similar to a person that speaks a different language, but don't look similar at all to the people in the language itself, So. We can update, I guess, the status on the different jobs that are going on here right now. What is this? This is the gift print. Some of you know this. Some of you don't. This is the gift print. It'll go up on our webpage next week or so, or somewhere before October the 10th. We haven't done a new gift print in a few years, so it's very important this year that we do another one, an original, I mean. So the plan is that I'll just keep going till I carve this. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, a couple of days, I guess, to get this key block carved. The color blocks will take no more than a couple of hours. Whether that will happen on camera time or off time, I don't know. We'll see when we get there, tomorrow or the next day. And once this is carved, it's a priority for me to do a test printing on it, or to sit with one of the printers upstairs and do a test printing on it, so that it can then go into production, ready for the October gift print opening. On the desk next to me, which has been sort of put aside for a couple of days while I do this, is the color separation work for Boss Fights #1. It hasn't progressed at all. It's just sitting after I did a Twitch stream on it the other day. So I'll get back to that once this is done. In the meantime, the young boy who's waiting to carve that, Chon-san, he's moved ahead for the key block on Boss Fights #2. The ones with those giant swords back and forth in it. And once I've got that color separation work out of the way, I can get back to the lady in the octopus. But that's sort of sitting aside right now as well. So I'm trying to juggle all these jobs. Then she may also get interrupted again, because no sooner will I get this gift print out of the way and that color separation work out of the way, then it's going to be getting critical to get the New Year's card. I say New Year's card, the New Year's print into production. And that's going to be a bit different this year than previous years. We normally do about 300 copies of it. But this year we'll have our normal 300, which goes to, business associates and family friends and stuff like that. But on top of that, we promised them to many of the Patreon supporters this year. So we'll probably need maybe 600 or 700 of those. The design is going to be, I can talk about it, I can't show it to you. We never ever show that in advance of New Year, although people are going to be seeing it under the camera. The design's coming from Jed this year. He gracefully obliged, and he and I had a Skype session the other day, throwing back and forth ideas and sketches. I mean, I threw the ideas, he threw the sketches, of course. And he came up with something. It's a little bit cute, but I think that's okay. A little bit of a cute mood is not gonna be out of the way. We want something light-hearted. And it'll be on my desk to carve that, because all the other carvers are just full. Kawasaki-san is working on, at the moment, she's doing double, she's doing triple. She's doing yokai number 11 color blocks. She's doing yokai 12 key block, Jed's side. And she has the color blocks for the Serpent Strikes, which is in the Kickstarter campaign. Then our other carver, young Nagao Yumi-san, she's on her first project for us. She's carving the Dragon's Gift, also from the Kickstarter campaign. She's doing the color blocks now. So we got a ton of different projects going on. Some of these feathers, I can't quite see the shape. Again, we get to them at test printing time, we'll see how to adjust these. Kawai-san's print practice. I don't know. He was here last night. Not last night. He was here all day yesterday. It was our closing day yesterday, Tuesday. And Kawai-san spent the whole day upstairs working on practice printing. He's doing the Benkei Bashi print in our catalog, which is a bit more difficult than I would have wanted him to try, but this is all on his own time and his own paper and his own cognizance. So. And I don't know. I don't want to. We'll see. We'll see how it works. Yeah. So to mention Kawai-san, I know he won't be here today. It's Wednesday. He's never here on a Wednesday. I know I was chatting with him last night after he left, and something he had started doing about a half a year or so ago. He'd been trying to think about what to do with his life. We weren't able to offer him full-time work. We're still not able to offer him full-time work. So for us, he's working 3 days a week, sometimes 4 as a party host. But he's been trying to think about what to do with his life and this and that. And he's seen one example of our work here, in that people all over the world like Japanese stuff. And there's this, internet thing that allows a connection between the countries. So what he's doing, he's experimenting at the moment. I don't know if it's too soon to talk about this. Maybe it's okay. He's experimenting. He's looking around flea markets here and antique markets and stuff like that to look for interesting Japanese objects and items. This has nothing to do with printmaking. He's looking for interesting items in Japanese flea markets. He's gathering together sort of a small, I can say collection, not his own collection, but I forget what he calls it, the kawaii Japanese collection or something. He's putting together a bunch of things, and he started to put them on eBay. Because he's got enough English skill to be able to communicate with people. He's leaning on our own experience about how to send stuff overseas, how to ship, how to take payments and things like that. Our girls here have given him lots of help on what to do with shipping and stuff. And he's now building a sort of it's a small incipient business in these interesting objects from Japan that he's making available to people from overseas. So And he'd been doing this like half a year ago. So I was chatting with him yesterday. How's it going? How's it going? He says, yeah, I got some new stuff. It's all kind of fun. It's interesting. So I was asking him, and what we might do, I think, is, when he's here in this next coming weekend, he's going to be here Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I've asked him to, show me some of the stuff or whatever. And he might, we might actually do that here on this stream. He's always here. He comes to work just at the time I sign off. So maybe it's my chance to help him introduce some of this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. He's just trying to put it together, It's really difficult for young guys here now to get full-time work unless you're the top university Toyota crowd, But on the other side, it's a land of opportunity now. Anybody can make their own work and make their own job. But if you've got that ability, that's fine. That other young boy we introduced a few days ago, he's trying to learn how to do carving and printing by himself, and he's coming along fairly well with the carving, sort of well with the printing, but he knows nothing else about the rest of the package, how to get the work in front of people. And oops, a bit of a crooked one there, excuse me. Benkebashi. That's not the same one. He's doing the postcard size version. It's in our catalog. It's number 288 in our catalog. Yeah, trinkets, I don't know. I know when we were talking about that, half a year ago when he was starting, he's asking me, what are people interested in and what's going on, And yeah, there's all kinds of, it's kind of an arbitrage, isn't it? People with knowledge here and access to products here, and people on the other side don't have access to them. And there's tons of junk. So what he's sort of tried to do, what he's trying to do bit by bit is, I don't know, what can I say? I can't say shoot for high quality because he's not making this stuff, but just try and shoot for things that have a bit more of a real feel than just simply some grotesque tourist junk. I don't know. I don't have a link or anything to it. The other day he was asking me about it. He's found a source of supply. Here near in Asakusa, one of the main traditional things in the Asakusa district near here was there still are. There are a bunch of companies that supply things like Buddhist altars for family houses and stuff like that. Young kids these days are not so big on that. They don't set up a big Buddhist altar in their house, but it was a really big business. And here in Asakusa, between here and Ueno, there's a street with dozens and dozens of shops that sell these accoutrements for your home. My ex-wife's father, he had some small bells that he would sit and chant his prayers and stuff like that too. And in recent years, there's been a lot of people are getting rid of this stuff from their houses because they just don't want to do that anymore. And he was asking me, is it okay, Dave? What do you think? Things that used to have religious significance, the bell that somebody would ring while they chanted their prayers in the morning. Is this cool to put out into the world as a used object, as an antique? And that's a good question, and I don't know. It's actually like a musical instrument. Beautiful, beautiful bing or boom. Beautiful sound, but they were specifically built to be, let's call the gods with these sounds and stuff. So is it okay to treat these items as interesting household objects? And I don't know, I didn't know what to tell him, There was a question there, wasn't it? Sosumi, let's have a look. Benkebashi, yeah, there's the smaller one. That's the one he's doing as a test print here. It hits all the right buttons. It's on a straight ahead print, not too much registration, but there's color overlays that are difficult. Someone's asking a question about living national treasure status. In fact, the question's a bit mixed. What does it mean for a craftsman to have a living national treasure status? Are there any LNT carvers? I'm not really the guy to ask. I'm certainly not really knowledgeable about this. In our own field, in the woodblock field here, there's only one that I know of, and that's Iwano-san, Iwano Ichibe the Ninth, who was designated a living national treasure. He's a paper maker, and it's extremely unusual. His father was also one, and he got the designation as well, which is really, really rare. They don't just pass these things down. If your father was it, you'll almost have no chance of getting it because they spread them around a bit more. There's certainly no carvers or printers here, and I doubt there ever would be. We come back to that really larger question of what's considered to be an art and what's not an art, and the things that we do, the things that I'm doing right now, are not part of the Japanese arts at all. Printmaking, because of its history in making porn and stuff like that, it's difficult for the authorities, and not the authorities in that sense, but the people that handle those kind of affairs, cultural affairs at that level. They don't really look on this stuff as something being worthy of recognition. I don't know. And that LNT thing's a double-edged sword. You get the designation. They obviously they come and look and check and test and feel around for a long time before they do this. And you get a stipend from the government, but it comes with some very strong restrictions about what you can do and what you can change and what kind of stuff you can make from then on. And basically, I guess what they're trying to do is they're going to put you in amber. You're frozen. You're done. Whatever it is you're doing, you just keep doing it. It'll never ever happen to anything like this, like we're doing. It's not even on the same radar. It's absolutely impossible. So Iwano-san got it, and from my point of view, it wasn't a positive thing at all when he got that. His prices go up like crazy. There's no specific increase in the quality. More difficult to get the stuff. And they can't improve it. The young man I've talked about before, where we're getting some new paper from, this current thing. He's experimenting. He's trying to make different tools to make his paper with. He's trying to make better paper. And none of that sort of thing is permitted when you're in the world of living national treasures. It's not all a benefit, And what's worse, the Iwano-san, our guy, Iwano Ichibe, the older guy who is now 80 or something, his son, Jun-san, is 50 something, I don't know any closer than that. A few years back, there's this UNESCO thing, I don't know the exact designation, it's not like living national treasure, it's, each country is allowed to sort of nominate certain crafts and things that are then recognized by, is it UNESCO, I think? They do this with locations, right? Certain islands or temples or places become World Cultural Heritage Sites, or I don't know the name, I'm sorry. And they have a program for things like crafts and activities and whatever. I don't remember the name of it. And if you go back, it'll be 2 or 3 years, a number of different Japanese papermaking types got nominated for this and elected. And it turns out that our particular type of paper, the Echizen Hosho paper for printmakers, wasn't included. The other different papermaking groups and associations and protections for the craft and all that stuff had done their lobbying really, really well. And 2 or 3 different papermaking villages and crafts had been included in this nomination, and Echizen Hosho paper, ours, was not. And it's absolutely because of what they did and didn't do on lobbying. And this hit Iwano-san like a ton of bricks. This world recognition, and it didn't go to him. And not specifically to him, but it didn't go to his type of paper, which he clearly feels, and I would sort of share this, is the best paper in Japan. Now, best meaning it's best for us because it's made for printmaking use. There's paper made for shoji screens, for this, for that, for all different kinds of uses. And ours, because it's got a really good long history, it's very strong paper, it's beautiful. We like it, but Iwano-san felt it should have been included in this. So he's now taken himself away from his workbench, and he has specifically said, that's it. I am dedicating the rest of my working career to gaining the recognition that we deserve. And he thinks he's going to get this paper included in that list. And it ain't going to happen, because once they've done washi, there's no way they're going to come and redo it again a couple of years from now. They're going to move on to different stuff, some indigo dyeing or something else or whatever. There's a list a mile long. But he has found his calling now. And so his son is at the workshop making the paper and cleaning the fiber and doing the mixing and doing everything else and beating it all on his own. And he could give a rat's ass about this designation. He just wants orders. He wants happy people making his, buying his paper. But his dad has now gone off on this political lobbying kick. Too late to help anybody. So these designations, I don't know, I guess, I don't know. Down on the ground, where stuff is happening, I don't know if they're beneficial or helpful or not. I don't play any of those games. I have nothing to do with any of that stuff. We just want to make stuff that people like. We've talked about this endlessly before. You want to talk about preservation, forget the preservation, just make stuff that people want. And it'll happen automatically. But it's a different mindset, so living national treasures, I don't know, nothing to do with us, I can imagine the scene in his house the day that news came over. My God. Everybody else must have just been running away to keep away from the guy. He must have just been ranting and raving. You spend like half your working career as a living national treasure. You start to believe that stuff, I'm not being evil to the guy. You start to believe it, Wisteria print based off Yoshida's print. Did I hear Sosumi? I did. Try and find it. Salvador-san, hey, are you watching this morning? That's you. Actually, those Yoshida, there's a few, the wisteria prints, all based on that, Kameido Shrine, the old Hiroshige famous design from the Edo 100 series, Yoshida's 2 wisteria designs. They're all popular. And it's funny, the way that Japanese people and the way that Western people relate to those things is different, Seasonal, the seasonal thing. We've got a ton of small prints up on the wall here in the shop. People have seen them. And they're random seasons. There's a spring one, an autumn one, a winter one, whatever. We don't even think of the seasons specifically when we put them up on the wall there. And it's totally different. Japanese collectors, Japanese people here, will never, ever, ever pick one up out of season. In fact, they'll even ask us, why have you got, a spring print up at this time of year or something? And the answer is a bit cliched. It's that, those foreigners don't care about that sort of stuff. Sorry to be a bit sarcastic here. And it is. I mean, I say foreigners, myself included, We look at that wisteria print and think, well, that's cool. And even though it's now October, I would still look at that and think that's cool. And that's not the way that it's done here, People very much, women for sure, and of a certain sort of, what can I say, educated or cultural sensibility, whatever. The kind of people that would do haiku poetry and flower arranging and things like this. That's just locked into their DNA. And if a lady was here flipping through prints in the shop and it's October, she would just flip past that wisteria one and could not see it or recognize it or notice it because it's October. It's really an interesting difference, how important we think things are, or what's the relevance to these things, And I'm sure many of the people here getting these prints, whatever, they might take a print like that, a wisteria print or a cherry blossom print or whatever, frame it and put it up on their wall, and it'll be there all year long. And a lady like this from Japan would just, oh my God, they just don't get it, do they, I'm not laughing at it, I'm part of this too. It doesn't matter to me. The attractive print is an attractive print. And the fact that it's out of season doesn't bother me. But there are indeed people who are bothered by it, so. That's okay, we all have our roles to play, and among a certain educated, cultured group of Japanese, they look at, us as people who don't get it, and that's fine, I'll play that role. It's not that I don't get it, it's that we value different things. Oh, there we go, look at that. Too busy talking. There we go. See that triangle? Is it visible? That's a piece of metal, about 1 millimeter on the side. Can I get it? So we know what my job is going to be now for the next 10 minutes. The crowd roars its approval. It's sharpening time. Is it visible? I can't see. Can I get it closer? I don't know. Let me try and pick it up. I don't know if I can do this. That's not going to focus, is it? Sorry. Whatever. The tip of the knife is broken. There it is. Choop. Let's get going. I was hoping to get this finished this morning. Not going to happen now. Cheers, cheers. Where are we? I heard the snap. So, I was too busy blabbing, Absolutely. Okay, here we go. This is a big break, so we're going to need to... I think I won't pull the knife out so much. I think I'll leave it there. That'll give me a bit more of a sharp, of a how can I, how much can I explain here? The knife, the tip is broken. I've lost about 1 millimeter. So theoretically, what I should do now is pull this 1 millimeter out. Take the ferrule off, pull it out 1 millimeter to get it to the same length once we're sharpened. But I'm not going to do that. I've broken it a couple of times on this block now, because it's actually, the knife is a bit too thin this way for this kind of rough work I'm doing here. I sharpened it for that hair, and that's why I'm breaking it now. So if it's too thin this way, I want to bring the knife a bit thicker this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at the same length. We've got this flat thing on the back of the knife, you can see. So that flat part rides against the stone. That's how it became flat. I didn't bevel that. It's become this way over the years. But because I'm not going to pull the knife out, think of it, if I pull the knife out, it means that bevel is going to be down, 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 down. But I'm leaving the knife shorter, so it's going to effectively be tipped up like this. Give me a bit of a stronger tip. Let's do this. This is the 400 stone. People are leaving here, whatever, can't help it, it's got to be done. Okay, let's go. Oh, I know what I should do, tip this camera down, right? I've learned this. Is that the angle? Are we on cameras? Getting there. Maybe about halfway, not sure. I can't see, with or without my glasses, I can't see. I'm taking metal away here, so I'm pushing onto this tip. And metal is disappearing pretty quickly. Almost there, tiny bit more. I'll back off the pressure a bit now so the scratching isn't quite so deep. Make it a bit easier for the next stone. Finish that stone with a lighter. Here we are. Good to go. Just knock off the crap at the edge there. Okay. That's the 400. So what we've done is we've just pulled the whole, pulled the whole thing back. We've got rid of nearly 1 millimeter of metal. It's a big waste, actually. I don't think that's a waste. That millimeter of metal should have done for hours and hours and hours of cutting. So this blade just lost like a huge chunk of its life, just disappeared because I was careless. You imagine a perfect situation, you never break it, you just lightly touch up the blade, touch up the blade, touch up the blade, bit by bit by bit. It gradually moves back over its whole life. You use every bit of steel on it. And now because I carelessly broke it, I've lost easily 1 millimeter of steel that should have had a good, useful life. I'm glad there's no older guy in the workshop here. He'd be chewing me out now for sure. Okay, our shape is restored. It's clean, deep gouge is gone. Next step, shiageto, finishing stone. And for that, we do use a natural one. I don't know that too. Why don't I just switch to using diamonds for the whole thing? Just something I want to feel a little bit still left, that I haven't totally abandoned the tradition. This is due for dressing. It's got a bit warped, and it's also got a couple of scratches. I don't know where they came from. There's some scratches on top. Am I supposed to be answering anything here? Lefty, lefty. I'm a lefty, of course. The blade makes the sacrifice. Is this a game reference here? Looks nice. Then our trademarked final couple of strokes to take off the absolute edge, because it will just crumble in the wood. And I'll knock off the tip as well. It seems counterproductive, but I could knock off the tip and knock off the edge. It's just sharper than we need. It's more delicate than we need. I think we're good to go. There is this swirly scratches here. I must have had something on it last week. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to it. Yeah, clipping these things, highlights. I've been talking about it for a month, but still haven't done it. A Twitch highlight reel on YouTube. I know, I'm sorry. And I'm YouTube now, I'm getting desperate. I haven't done something for like 3 weeks. Okay, where are we? We're still good to go, right? Lots of time. Put that back. You see, very nice. That's not a bad job. Sometimes I get it good. I don't know if there's any way you can see it, the reflections. I don't know. If I get this here, if I put it there, I don't know if you can see there's a line, a white line at the tip. I've beveled just along the edge there. It's a slight bevel that knocks back. The front is flat. It just goes straight. Here we are. The front just goes straight off. The back is flattened, but just at the very edge there's a small knockoff. Oh, Sasumi. Somebody in the chat's asking about the octopus print, the one, the fisherman's wife. It's coming along. It's, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's sitting, it's this third thing in line on my bench waiting to be done. It's going to be continuing week by week, month by month. In this next few weeks I won't be working on it, but it'll be back, please. Just have your patience. There's a link on our website where you can drop your email in if you want to be updated about the progress. But yeah, the octopus print is happening. It isn't cancelled, don't worry. There's another question in here. That Yoshida wisteria print. Just a second, let me get back to here with this knife and I'll hunt me if I talk too much. There's a question in the box about the Yoshida print. Somebody ordered it from us a few days ago, and when I was responding in email, the thank you, we'll get it on the way, which it is, by the way, it's on the way. I mentioned just a couple of things in my email about what I think about that print and some of the interesting things about it. But I'm not sure what I can say without an example. Yeah, I know, asking the question, can you find a link to that thing? Can you post the link here to our catalog page that has an image of that print? So that I can say something about it and people will be able to see what I'm talking about? I don't know. I did get that broken metal out, didn't I? It was there. To reiterate, that's really important. When you break the knife like that, quite frequently it breaks, and the broken triangle, gets like embedded down in the block somewhere. And at the point you break it, you're carving, and boom, it breaks. You pick up your knife, and the triangle is gone. It's really a classic silly situation. You just simply put the block away, you go and sharpen, get your tip ready, you come back and pick up where you left off, and the broken triangle of metal is still in exactly at the point where you left off. You put your knife in and bang, it hits the steel and breaks again or dulls its edge. So whenever there's a break like that, that first important thing is get that broken triangle out of there. And I did. I think we were showing it to you. It's blown off somewhere. It's not part of the game here. I can't tell you how many times I did the same stupid thing before I finally, Dave, when are you going to realize? It's like when you got a saw and there's a nail inside the wood, you hit that thing and bang, it's game over for your blade. And it's exactly the same thing. Have we got that Yoshida image? Yeah. Okay. What I had pointed out in the email to the longtime supporter who ordered that last week was the incredible difference in what's the word? The ukiyo stuff that we do, that I trained for many years, is founded on the idea of smooth, flat color. Back in the old days, the ukiyo designers and printers, they didn't think of what they were doing as wood block prints. Nobody wanted to see the wood. If you could see the wood in something, it was basically a mistake. Remember, they weren't doing woodblock for art. It was just the printing business, and woodblocks were the technology that was in use. So it wasn't a merit or a demerit. It was just that's what you used to make those images. And the style developed to be smooth, clean, flat color. Back in the early days, there weren't even any gradations. That came along around late 1780s or so. So it's all super smooth, flat color. And when I'm training, and when the people were training in the old days, if you screwed it up, like this owl, this color block, it's full of streaks. This was a mistake. This is junk work. It's not true, clean ukiyo. But back in the ukiyo times, it was flat. You move along to the 20th century, the Shin-Hanga era. This print that's in that image there is Toshi Yoshida. He's the second generation of the Yoshida family. His father, Hiroshi, was a bit of a pioneer. Didn't invent anything, but a bit of a pioneer in producing a lot of early Shin-Hanga. And Shin-Hanga was that genre where it was in the 20th century now, and now we were looking at this stuff as art, but they were still doing it as a collaborative effort. Designer, publisher, carver, printer were different people. So the print you're looking at in that image there, this is produced by the Yoshida family. Toshi Yoshida designed it. He had blocks prepared for him, and his staff printers printed it. And the key block for that one is a metal block. It wasn't carved by hand. It was drawn by Yoshida and sent out for plate making. It's a metal block. But the point of the conversation, that one I'm supposed to get to, was that if you look at the colors on that thing, the colors on those lanterns, the grass, everywhere around it, almost everywhere around it, they're all mottled, dabbled, textured color. And that's not carved, that's printed. And what they did was they started using I was going to say too much water. Too much is they started using a lot more water on the block, a lot less paste, a lot less barren pressure. They found a way to use the same basic techniques as the ukiyo-e period, but they printed with texture instead of printing smooth, clean, flat color. To the ukiyo-e guys, this is a bug. That would have been a reject print. To the 20th century people, this is a feature. Of course, it's attractive, it's interesting. And because of my personal quirks, my control freak character, and the things that I personally find attractive, it's the ukiyo-e flat, clean color that rang my bell back when I was doing this. So this is the stuff that I myself still do. And even when I did my own designs, I still, for the most part, did it with flat color. This thing is now sharp. It was sharp before, but it's... Can't see what happens at some of these things. Wait for test printing again. Where am I going to go where some of this stuff is not so visible and not so easy to see? Let's try this area. Remember, I didn't retrace this design. We just took a reproduction of the museum image, pasted it on the walk. So I haven't retraced all these. Yeah, the textures are fun, so it's also difficult, you know. I know. In the case of the flat color prints, the ukiyo-e, you've got your clear goal, and they also look exactly the same. You balance your paste and your water and your pressure, and there you go. You can clearly see if that's correct or not correct, because, you know, a clear, clean, smooth, flat color is easy to see. In the case of those textured prints, the Yoshida ones, there's two things that make it more difficult. Is one, the texture is a random texture, not random in the gross sense, but random in the micro sense, where those dots and dots and dots appear are going to be different in every print. But yet, once the design is done, and once the proofing is done, and once the overall feel and mood and image of the print is done, you want to match that. Oh, no way! Here we are, it's broken again. This one is not me, and I can see what's happening now. We've obviously got to a part in this blade where the steel is really, really weak, and I've got no idea where we're going from here. It could be the next 2-3 millimeters that are weak. It could be the whole rest of this blade. We were talking about this yesterday, when the guy's hammering it, you know, to do the annealing and to do the joining, it's bang, 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 bang. And where the banging of that hammer, when they're heating this thing, it's broken in exactly the same way. Actually, that makes me feel a bit better. That last one I can say now probably was not my fault. This is really weak steel. So, what are we going to do here? I think we got lots of blade left. Let's try it. Let's just cut back some more. Give it a try. This could happen 1, 2, 3, 4 more times before we get past this patch. No idea. Sorry, gang. This is life. When you're a carver, this is life. What am I getting? Booze? Cheers? Oh yeah, look at this. I tell you, this thing about talking and doing this at the same time, you know. Where is it? Let's use my broken blade. This whole thing about talking and working, I don't know. I don't know. Where were we? I don't even know where the hell I was. Here we are, in this corner, right? There it is, I can see it. You can hear it, steel on steel. My God, it's jammed in there too. I just pushed it down. No, what do I think? Okay, I can't get it up. But what I'll do then, it's not going to come out. So what I'll do is you can sleep in there till the end of time. I'm going to finish that corner so I don't need to go back there. I can't cut with a broken tip here. Okay, there's no need to go back in there. We're done. That's how I scratched it, you know. I put the steel one directly on it the other day. Must have done that. A magnet, I guess. I don't think so. It was jammed in there, you know. It's okay. It's beyond reach now, I think. We'll see. Now this time I've got to pull the blade up now. There's no way I can do that twice in a row. So I've got to take the, you know, what's it called? The ferrule. Take the ferrule off. And it's almost at the end of its life too. Look at this. We've come to the end of it. There's quite a lot of length here yet. So I've got no idea if this is going to be junk from here on in or if I'm going to be able to get more life out of this. I don't know. This is an open question now. That is a Patreon. Somebody joining Patreon. Thank you very much. If it's anybody here, thank you. It isn't broken quite as much as it was last time. Let's see. It could have been too, now that to explain, you know, I put quite a bit of pressure on it last time because I wanted to cut back quickly. Then I eased up the pressure, did the 1,000 stone. And it could be I stressed it, you know. I could have pressed down too hard on that previous block and cracked it, lightly cracked it. Or just, you know, stressed, put a stress fracture in there or something. So I think I'll take this one a bit easier, not press quite so hard. Might take a little bit longer. Not yet, because I'm being careful with this. It's not cutting so quickly. It's a plus, what is it, 6 of one, half a dozen, you know. The harder I press, the faster it'll cut, but obviously I could be fracturing it, so. Sorry about this, gang, not too interesting, but this is part of our life. This is the way things go, you know. This is a normal part of the day. Out of water. I know, if I were just carving on a normal, say, 8-hour day for carving, it depends on the work, I can't say, you know. It might break once or twice, but I'd be back at the stone anyway, half a dozen times easily in a normal day's work for the touch-up jobs. You know. On a really good day, there wouldn't be any breakage like this, but there'd still be half a dozen or more touch-ups. So the sharpening stone always sits right by your side. And it's not a question of, oh no, I have to get sharpening. It's just a normal part of the job, you know. I complained here, my God, I'm sorry, but no. But it's not bad news. Sharpening is just whatever. It's just what goes on. Talked about that before. Shimano-san, the guy who gave us the wood blocks, prepared the wood blocks, long dead now. He had 5 thick, wide planes right by his bench, and all day long, back and forth, sharpen, 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 sharpen. And that wasn't a few seconds work like it is for me. For him, it's a long minutes. So for me, in any given day, I don't know, I can't give an accurate percentage, but easily an hour, and maybe, you know, quite a bit more. Those plane blades were wide. He bears down with his full body power on them, and 5 of them, you know. Each one of those 5 has to go through the series of stones, strong, medium, fine, both sides. And if he didn't keep them razor sharp, the wood blocks wouldn't be, you know, smooth and clean and flat. He was a sharpening, whatever, ninja, whatever the word is, you know. I've gone through the final break on the ferrule unit. It's going to have to be changed. Don't know if I've got an extra one in the box. I have to look around here. All my tools and my extra blades and stuff like that, that's all out in Omi. I've got next to nothing here in Asakusa. Running out of water here. Okay, this one's taken longer, sorry, because I've kept the pressure down, you know, as I said, to avoid stressing that blade. I've kept the pressure much lighter. That's why it took longer. And if this breaks again, that's it, we're done. This knife is going to be forcibly retired. Because I make mistakes. I can make a mistake twice, but 3 times in a row, there's no way. If it gets to that point, it's not me. I'm out of water here. It's still fun, you know. They're getting sharp. It's just so much fun to have a nice, super sharp blade. It doesn't matter the fact that I did it 5 minutes ago. It doesn't actually matter, you know. It's a pleasure to come up with an edge like this. Here we go again. This is where we were. What was it, 15 minutes ago? Deja vu all over again. What's that they say? Okay, here we go. It used to be so frustrating though, you know, back in the early days. Tony, it was frustrating. I didn't know if it was me or the blade. Most of the times it was me, of course, you know, pressing too hard, not recognizing a hard place, twisting just a bit too much, turning just a bit too much. Okay, where am I? Get this located. Get dislocated. Get this located. Keep away from that little corner just because you know. Where am I? Are we okay? Can I check? No, no stropping. Nothing, nothing. We have no oil stones, no stropping. Lots of people ask that in email and stuff, you know. Here's a stream question. Dear Dave, what is your reaction to being an unintentional ASMR YouTube sensation? What can I say? I didn't know anything about that ASMR thing before this all happened on YouTube, you know. Another one. Another one. So at first it was just what's going on. I have no idea. I didn't even know what the words ASMR meant. To look it up after this goes on and on and on, look it up, and I read the explanation in Wikipedia, whatever. I don't myself get that. I don't feel this sensation that people tell me they feel. So I don't understand this thing. But it seems that it's nothing, you know, negative to me. It goes hand in hand with the comparisons with Bob Ross, who seems to have been a pretty okay guy, pretty straightforward. Clearly enjoyed what he was doing. So I'm okay with this. As I said, I don't understand it. It happens. It's out there. For us, YouTube, you know, I don't do the YouTube things for revenue. We don't put ads on them. It's not there to. What's the word? I have no agenda with the thing. So this is not subverting any agenda I have. You know, if there's more people that watch our stuff, you can see how I'm trying to be really careful not to put this blade in deep. It's going to be like this for the next couple of minutes till I get a bit, get a bit of a feel for this edge again. So anyway, whatever, I'll take what comes. I don't understand that, but it doesn't seem anything negative or bad or hostile or whatever. If there are people who find my work peaceful and relaxing, that's okay, because that's basically, you know, that's me anyway. I'm not a noisy, aggressive person, so. But no, do I get it? No, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I understand the words, but I don't feel the thing that people say they are feeling, you know. So. Excuse my delicacy. I really want to be careful with this blade. You know. No deep excavating here for the next couple of minutes until we figure out how strong this thing is or isn't. I've got to watch my time too, I know, because those of you who just joined didn't catch this news. At the beginning of the stream here, an hour or so ago, I got an email from Shiba-san. The train she's on, she's opening the shop today. The train she's on was delayed. The Chuo Line train she's on is delayed. So she's here she's the key opener today. And Audrey, one of the new trainers, is with her, but Audrey doesn't have a key yet. So when it gets to 9:20 or so, I can't just sit here waiting for the doorbell because Audrey is going to be sitting outside there in the rain. So when 9:20 or so comes, I'll leave the camera running, but I have to get downstairs to crack the front door open. And if Shiba-san's train wasn't delayed too much, she'll roll in. If so, then I've got to get busy myself with getting ready for the first party today. Because Audrey can't do it by herself yet. The French girl, she's here teaching French in Japan and studying woodblock carving with Asuka sensei, you know, the guy, Asuka-san, the guy running the Takami workshop. I don't know if this blade's going to survive or not. I have no way to tell. Just it holds or it breaks. Be really careful with it. It could be that those two breaks. The first one I broke myself because I was careless. And the second one, it could be because I stressed the blade when I was sharpening. Or it could be that we've hit a weak part of the steel. It's, you know, anybody's guess at the moment. If it breaks again now soon, you know, I didn't stress it and I'm really being kind of careful with it. So if it breaks now, we know this is dud steel and I either have to just toss it or cut back a 1/4 inch or something to try and get past the bad zone. Because it's been a really, really nice blade up to now. I don't know how Shimano-san would have done that with those plain blades. They were big, they were really expensive. Did he have the same problem? My guess is perhaps not. These little blades have these dud zones because they're so small. There's no way the guy can target his hammering when he's banging them, you know. But with those big plain blades, it must be a much bigger hammer. You can see where you're at. So maybe, at least in terms of a quality blade, the quality was I don't know. I have no experience with that. But with these little ones, the quality varies very much along the length of the steel. Yeah, I'm going to chew this out instead of cutting it out with a knife. Just, again, a bit of extra safety here right now. time. Am I okay? It's 9:19. Excuse me, let me go and unlock the front door because Audrey is probably standing out there. Back in a sec. Is that a first? The first time I've ever rung the doorbell on my own stream? Yes, so the dud zones, they're laminating the 2 layers of steel, the sharp steel, hard steel, which is the cutting edge, and the soft steel, which is the support edge. And he's got the 2 layers, and bang, 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 bang. And where the hammer hits and where it doesn't hit, and if he's a tiny bit careless or if it's just beyond the scale of what he can do, then the knife, as we go back half a millimeter, half millimeter, half millimeter, the character of the steel is quite different. And whatever, that's just part of the game, it's just the way it is. Missed his answer to my Bob Ross question. I don't know, what was the Bob Ross question? Where are we here? I've seen people comparing the relaxing nature of your videos to the Bob Ross series. Many people have drawn similarities. What is your reaction to this? Well, as I said, no, I'm cool with it. I don't understand ASMR, but Bob Ross is obviously a cool guy, liked what he did, relaxed, chilled out person, which I kind of think maybe I am, I don't know. I'm cool with this. Are there any photos of your carving bench around on the internet? The blue rag, doesn't it make the block slide? The blue rag is so the block can slide. I don't want the block to get scratched. So the blue rag is a rag just so that I can slide it around without scratching the back. As for the carving bench, I'm not sure. I know this carving bench appears in any number of our videos, YouTube videos, so it's close up here, you can't see it, but I introduced it actually specifically in one of the YouTube videos about the Great Wave at the time that this bench was given to me. So there's more detailed shots of it there. People, now and then, somebody who's doing printmaking, they write to me and ask me, what's the dimensions of your bench? And it's meaningless to say that. You need a bench that fits your body. The number one key, that when you sit at it, you can't see. I dropped the camera. When you sit at it, on the bench itself, you should be, what's the word? This is straight. If you're carving like this or down or something like that, if your wrist is crooked, you're going to be in trouble. So this is the right size for me to hold my knife and to work, and my wrist is up. My wrist is completely straight. And if there's any single key thing, it's that. If you start doing stuff with a flexed wrist, either the printing job or the carving job, you are in trouble. And the Japanese have worked it out both ways. I'm sure they didn't know the word RSI, but all of this, the printing and carving, none of it causes any strain on the wrists. We basically don't use our wrists. For carving, I'm locked here and I'm moving around like this. For the printing, we're locked and we put the pressure in from the back. I guess I do use my wrist. I come around and around and around, but there's no stress or strain on the wrist. Okay, anyway, what am I doing? It's been a bit of a random, scattered stream this morning. I'm sorry. I'll do a bit more here. But if Shiba-san isn't here soon, I have got to cut and run to get in the shop. There's a 10 o'clock party, and she is nominally the host for it, but it sounds like she may not be here on time, so I will have to get my party hat ready. So I better do the recap then, and we come at the end of each one of these streams. Today is Wednesday morning. We've just had the day off. I had a very productive day yesterday, peaceful day in the shop here with the door closed, catching up on some PHP work. Today's Wednesday. I'm here this morning. I'll be here this evening, unless something else comes up to make it difficult. If the shop's crazy busy at 5:30 or something, I'll be here with a 5:30 Tokyo time stream tonight. There's the front door, so somebody's here, Audrey and or Shiba-san. Then tomorrow I should be back here. Thursday should be a normal day. From the looks of it, I'll be here doing this owl still. So Thursday should have 2 streams, morning and evening. I don't hear the bell. I heard the front door slam, but I don't hear the bell. I don't know what's going on down there. It's 9:30, whatever. I've got to do this, gang. Okay, sorry for the scattered ending here. Here we are. Where are we? Let me zoom up for this. There we are. Almost no progress today, I'm sorry. What did we get done? That area on the outside, almost nothing. Sorry about that. There are days and there are days. Okay. Thanks for watching. We win some, we lose some. Anyway, you got to see some sharpening, didn't you? How far can we come in? Looking good. Okay, as I said, back here tonight, hopefully with a bit more productive session. Back here tomorrow for maybe the same. Thanks for coming in to join us, guys. I've got to get to my job in the shop here, so don't be so hard on yourself. I'm not. I'm having fun. It's okay. I just no, whatever. I want it all to be perfect. So, thanks again. Oh, question. Shall we look at it? No, more about ASMR. Let's go. I've got to get into the shop. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you next time. I do have to remember the mic is still live.